Hello, we're back again with another agency success story, or I guess our first one, really. We're said another one, but it's the first one, right? So obviously you all know the lovely Brittany, but today we have the lovely Jono as well. He's with us. He is a successful agency owner, and we are going to be interviewing him as I think this is our second or third interview on the Digital Marketing Playground. So today, we're just going to start off. Tell us your story, Jono, and how you ended up in digital marketing and wanting to run your own agency. Why would you be that crazy is pretty much what we need to figure out here and what we're looking for. So
stop. I will talk forever. So you guys are going to have to interrupt me.
Okay, we'll stop you there. That was a good answer. Let's go to the next one.
All right, next. So rewind. I worked for a church for 21 years. That was my deal. And this kind of all started back in 2012. We had 4 biological kids, and we decided that it would be a good idea to adopt.
Oh.
Yeah, we lost your
audio.
Your audio there real quick.
Oh, so can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can. Yeah. So you said you had 4 kids.
Yeah. And then we thought it would be a great idea to adopt a 5th.
Wow. Okay.
I wouldn't recommend 5 children. That's a lot. Especially if you work at a church and don't make any money. My wife wasn't working, and my income was from a church, and they don't pay much. So I worked with teenagers, and they especially don't pay the guys that work with teenagers very much. So, we were in this situation in 2012. And our son was 13 when we brought him home from Ukraine. So it wasn't like we were bringing home a baby. And so that was tough, and we needed extra cash. And the only thing that I knew that I was decent at that might be lucrative was social media from working with teenagers.
Oh, we lost your video again, or your sound.
I think your AirPods are failing you, Jono.
My gosh. All right, let's do this. Connection. Man, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to switch my audio. Let's see. How do I? I'm looking professional here. I'm going to switch my audio settings real quick whilst I try to talk. Let's see.
Why don't you focus on switching the eye? Brittany and I will talk.
Yeah, y'all talk for a second. Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I just changed microphones there.
Cool.
You should be good.
Okay. All right, cool. So, adopt kids.
You don't recommend having 5 kids. I always say, hey, you don't ever want to play zone. That's what I always say. You'll play man to man. Stay that way. Don't switch to zone. As soon as you're at zone, you're at disadvantage immediately. So,
Michael, well, you should know I was a band nerd, and I have no idea what you just said. So, I think it was a sports analogy that
it may have been. I don't know.
I didn't get. Words like zone give me the chill.
You don't want to play 27 instruments in your own band. How about that? You want to play. Got it. Okay.
Got it. Okay. So we saw a bunch of businesses around here in our area that had Facebook pages, and my wife was always looking for ways to save money and see what these bouncy places that they would, if they had a coupon or something. Anyway, we started noticing that there was a lot of these companies that they hadn't posted on social media for months. So I kind of figured out they knew they needed to be on social media. Small businesses were just kind of getting into it, but I figured they didn't have time. So I went and got a shirt. I came up with a logo and got a shirt embroidered with that logo on it, called it Social Sphere Media, and got some business cards and made a list of 20 companies that weren't active on social media but had pages. And I just went to them and said, hey, for $300, I will post 3 times a week on your Facebook page. And 3 of them said yes out of about 20. And so that's how I got my first clients. And it was just survival money. And one of the guys was one of the first clients that took me up on it. He started another business about 9 months down the road. And in his mind, he assumed that computer guys could do everything. So he asked me, he said, so, hey, I need a website for this new business. How much is it? And I said, $500. And he said, okay. I was like, cool. Now all I need to do is go learn how to build websites. So I went and figured out how to build a Squarespace website, and it looked terrible, but he was happy with it. And so then he told his friends. And so by 2017, I was making as much on the side as I was with my church job. By 2018, I was making more. And so I slowly just phased myself out of the church job and full-time into this deal. And so here I am.
So how many clients did you have when you made that transition out of your day job to being an agency owner?
I would say about 28 ish, 28 or so. But not all of them were big paying clients. I mean, some of these were like $150 a month clients just managing their website.
Like social clients. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Did you have a team with you, or is it just you?
So I have, a couple of years ago, I hired a account manager because we had like a ton of social clients, and we had done no reporting or anything because I didn't know you were supposed to do that. And so then someone a couple of years in is like, hey, can you show me something like how we're doing? I was like, oh yeah, crap, I guess I should do that. And so I hired her to start doing reports. So it was just kind of me and her, but she was working 10 hours a week with me, and that was it. And so I think 2018, all these people were wanting their website to get found, and I didn't know how to do that. I built all these websites, and everybody's like, no one finds my website. So I was alone, and so that's when I went looking for someone to help with SEO, and that is when I found you guys, and who rescued me out of the pit.
Oh,
you guys have rescued me quite a few times since then, actually, and possibly even once more this afternoon. We'll see.
So in terms of like your structure now, I mean, you came from like a very grassroots effort, t-shirt, business cards, and then, you hired a couple people, it sounds like.
Before you ask the question, I do want to compliment you on that approach. That's such and even we know each other on a little bit different level. Like, I'd almost challenge you to keep doing what you did with those social media clients. Like, that was so smart to check that they had a page, they had posted, but they hadn't done it frequently. They know they need it. That's where your mind went, was, hey, they know they need it, but they don't have the bandwidth to do it. Let me solve that problem, right? And you went and did that. You solved the customer's problem. That's like, in the agency world, that's all we're trying to do, is solve problems for our clients or for our businesses, right? And that's what John O did there, is he grabbed the idea that these people had a page, didn't update. Hey, they know it's relevant. They probably, like most business owners, get overwhelmed and forget to do it. That is such a great tip, and I think it's honestly something that is a sales technique, and I think it's a really smart one, to be honest. Like, it's an easy way to reach out and start the conversation with people. But go ahead, Brittany. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, this isn't, just so everybody knows, it's not a sales pitch for 51 Blocks. Jono happens to be an amazing partner of ours, so I think we're just a part of his story. But how many white labels did you have to look at before you found the right one? Because I know that a lot of people come in and we're just all so different. What was that journey like for you?
Terrible. It was rough, man. It was such a mess. I didn't even know what the term white label meant. I was in such desperation because I had several clients who I had their websites and they were going to go with someone else. And there was all this money all these people several of my clients were like wanting to pay me for SEO. They liked me, but I had to Google SEO. What does that mean? And so out of desperation, I just started looking around, and I found kind of a big national company, and they were affordable, and they took care of most everything, and had a pretty good system, but it definitely felt like a huge national. I was just plugging my clients into a big system. I didn't really know what was going on. It wasn't customized. It was just they were just doing a few foundational things, and that was it. And so didn't really know if we were getting results, and there was not real good communication there. So dropped them and then went to a local guy who was a great guy. In fact, so smart. He was like a savant when it comes to SEO. Like, he could so talk about it all day long. And so I handed my clients to him, but turns out actually all he did was talk about it all day long. Nothing ever happened. And I would, 2 months in, I'm pressing for results. I mean, I'm pressing for reports, and I was just getting all these excuses, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I'd already had to change on my clients once. And so now here I am again thinking, what am I going to do? And so I was sitting on the couch one night just looking again. By that time, I knew what white label meant. So I was looking for white label SEO. And you guys showed up at the top. And I figured, well, if they showed up at the top, they know how to do SEO. So we'll go with them. And that was when I guess I sent an email, then met Brittany.
Mhm.
And she convinced me that she knew what she was talking about, and you guys had everything I was looking for. And I met Michael, Sparks flew, and the rest is history.
I actually think that's very common in our industry, and it's been something that I've always battled since even 2009, right? People talk about the game. Agencies talk about the game. They understand how to talk about it, but they don't understand either how to execute it or they don't want to, right? And that's why showing results is so important, right? So if you don't have reporting or that type of stuff that you're showing your clients, you're not holding your white label or even your own team accountable. And that's kind of what all the reporting works two ways for us, or at me and Brittany, is we look at it and we say, hey, it shows the client the progress we've done. It shows our systems and processes if they're working, right? So internally and externally, we're able to look at reporting and identify issues of things that are working or not. We have our hot list of clients every month when we do reporting, and it goes out. If something's fallen, they go on the hot list. They now get attention, right? And those types of systems and processes is what happens, at least for us inside of our agency. And I think any agency should have that, where you send out a client report. Most of the time they're going to be good. And I always tell clients, not every month is going to be great. Like literally, we just got email from a client that had their best 2 weeks in a row ever, and the third week was not as great, and they're freaking out. And I'm like, hold on, you just had the best 2 weeks you've ever had. Not every week's going to be the best every week. It's not going to be a constant upward trend forever, right? It's going to ebb and flow a little bit, and educating the customer on that is good as well. But then on the backside, Brittany and I need to go, oh, hey, we got to go check analytics, confirm that is exactly what is the case. Is it just a down week, or did something happen, or whatever? Like, so we can go in and check, and have it's a good sanity check for your systems and processes. And I would say, a couple of years ago, Brittany and I found a number of issues inside of our systems and processes, and we had to fix them and go and address them. And SEO is constantly changing, so you got to constantly add things in. And that's why I have the hairline that I do, right? Is because constantly things are changing, and you constantly have to implement the processes and all of that. So that's a good point that you're talking about there with that. So what does the structure look like currently now versus when you started? So you had an account manager.
Yeah. And that was it. She was just handling a few social media accounts and then doing the reporting. Basically, that was the account management. So I've added 2 other social media managers, account managers. So I've got them, and then I have a marketing assistant for our niche agency, and let's see here. So I have this fantastic white label partner that handles all of my SEO, and it's wonderful. And the cool thing about you guys, and I'm not just like kissing up or blowing smoke, but literally, you guys have taught me so much about SEO that I didn't know. Like, I am totally comfortable going in any room with anybody and talking about SEO now. In fact, last month, my Chamber of Commerce invited me to speak for 45 minutes on SEO. Wow. And so I did this, 5 things you can do right now for SEO. And I stole it from your blog, I'm sure. And but man, I can, like, I know what I'm talking about with that. There's not a lot that I know what I'm talking about. But so you guys have helped me with that. And the other cool thing is talking about you guys' systems and processes. Because you guys are so transparent and so communicative, like any decent process we have, whether it's our project management, Monday.com, our reporting, everything I've learned about that, I've learned from you guys. And,
cool.
And so
Very cool.
and he didn't even charge me for it. So thank you.
Well, I think you make a good point around like education versus just like regurgitating what you see out there, right? And that's even in the sales process with you. It was like, here's what we do. You know, it's like you either like it or you don't, which is why we're not like pushy on the sales side. And then with our client success manager, Lisa, that's what she does with clients, where she's educating on the hows and whys. And that's how they see value, I think, at the end of the day as well, more so than just like, you got 5 calls, great, great pat on the back kind of a thing. So yeah, no, I think it's super cool for people to hear. I think people will be interested to hear how you did your pricing structure from when you used to have it before you came to us or before you used another vendor. How did that change for you, and how did you mark things up so that it was still profitable for you?
Gosh, some of that is such a blur because I was in such a panic because I had this other person totally just pooping on my clients. And I don't even remember what I was charging. I wasn't charging much. He wasn't charging me much because he wasn't doing much. So I was charging enough to where I could switch to an agency like 51 Blocks that knew what they were doing and still make a little bit of money. But at that point, I didn't have but a handful of SEO clients. So I still have a few SEO clients that I haven't gone up on. I probably should raise their prices, but I immediately increased all incoming clients' fees. And I started doing the whole package deal. I've gotten to where our core package is a website and SEO and pay-per-click. And then if you want some social media, whereas in the beginning, all I did was social media. Now social media is just kind of an added feature. I don't even, just because of everything that's gone on with social media and blocking ad accounts getting deleted for no reason, I don't put but like half an egg in that basket.
And I think that's a shout out to Josh Nelson and kind of how he positions a lot of agencies now with, hey, buy the whole package. You get the web, the SEO, PPC as one package, and it's all managed by one company in that space. And that's kind of, that's where, I mean, obviously everyone talked about it before, but Josh really put it together in a nice package for a lot of the different agency owners to kind of do and sell.
Yeah.
So,
well, and for us, Josh is like, get your niche agency going, But when you put I come in with this other agency and I'm working on the niche agency, but when I put those things in place and everywhere, then my other agency started growing, so they're both growing and it's great.
Yeah. And I think that's great. And I think it's interesting because, there's this, I won't even say trend. I think there's this natural move in the market to this, everyone having a niche agency now. And that's important. And that's what, it makes life a lot easier for everybody if you are in a niche, because you only do keyword research usually once. You understand the niche at a deep level. You're able to help the business partners significantly, move their business along by being in that niche. But I'm a true believer. You never want to say no to business that's coming in your old agency either. You want to definitely keep that income coming so that you obviously can feed the kids, right? That's an important thing to do. So you got to make sure that you're doing that as well. Cool. Brittany, anything else we want to?
Yeah. Address? I mean, I think just your top tips. So we have, in this group, but in terms of our audience, it's all different agency owners of all different sizes. So what are your tips for people who want to grow? Just in general, they don't even necessarily have to pertain to using a white label, but what would you say as people are getting started in this, or, what would you have told yourself 2 years ago, as far as your tips now?
Yeah, I would say for me, getting out of being the technician, kind of going back to the eMyth stuff, getting out of being the technician and becoming actually working on the business instead of in it every day was huge for me to actually get new clients, because I was drowning in the minutia of, and still in some ways am. Actually just had a project manager start with me yesterday, part-time project manager, because I'm just constantly trying to get out of the day to day.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. I think that's the hardest part for a lot of agency owners, is to remove themselves from.
Yeah, and I'm insecure, so.
Yeah.
I got insecurities and trust issues that, so this is my baby, you know, so it's like, and it
Yeah.
feeds my children. So
Exactly. No, it's not
Yeah.
something you want to be.
Totally makes sense. All right, Jono, well, thank you for joining us today. Hopefully people learned a little bit, from the insight that you have, and congratulations on all your growth. I know it's been fun for us to be a part of it, but I think the advice you gave to a lot of people will make sense, and hopefully they can apply something.
Yeah, I want to say one thing. I know John's not a sports guy, but just so you know, that's an Atlanta Braves T-shirt you have on. So I just want to be clear that we understand that. So
I will watch the Atlanta Braves. I will watch. I don't know what's going on, but I do.
They
I
have
do.
a stick and a ball. That's all I know, right?
I grew up with my grandparents watching the Braves all the time, so it's just like nostalgia for me. I open the windows and listen to the crickets and watch the Braves. That's our deal.
Yep, I get it. Cool. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was a blast. Good seeing you.
Yeah, good to see you, everybody. Let us know if you have any questions or comments. Jono can definitely jump in and answer any of those, as he's made the transition from, legacy agency to niche agency, and also using, trying to find a team that would work for him to finally finding a great team. Let's just say that. We'll leave it at that.
Is a team. I feel like I have like a team. It's not just some people that are behind a curtain somewhere that I don't know. Like we have a relationship, and that's what sets you guys apart from all of the other white labels I've ever worked with.
I appreciate that. And, the cool thing is for us is, then we helped even introduce you to a 7-figure agency to help you grow your agency, right? So it's not even just about, us doing work for you. We're really trying to educate just like you are. You're trying to educate and help us. You give us a great feedback when we mess up and tell us, hey, can we do this better? Can we do this, blah, 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 from your perspective. And that open transparency is very big for both of us. So we really appreciate it. Everybody, let us know if you have any questions. Thanks.